All right, today we're going to decode the secret, unspoken language of high-status rooms. And look, you can forget what you think you know about expensive watches or designer labels. The real signals, they're way smaller, much faster, and believe me, so much more powerful.
You know, when you walk into a really important room, it's so easy to assume the judgment is all about what you're wearing. But the people who truly belong there, they're not even looking at your labels. They're playing a totally different game, operating on a whole other level of social currency.
What they're really doing is running this silent audit, like a background check based on these tiny little micro behaviors. And the crazy part? Most of this happens in under 3 seconds. It's an instant filter that separates the visitors from the residents.
So what are these subconscious signals, the ones that speak so much louder than any business card ever could? Well, let's break them down one by one.
Okay, we're going to start with the absolute foundation, the first impression you make. These first 3 behaviors are all about projecting this quiet, unshakable presence right from the moment you walk through the door.
It all starts with the pause. Think about it. Most people enter a room and their eyes are just darting around, desperately looking for someone they know. Their body language is practically screaming for an anchor. It suggests you just can't stand to be alone, even for a second. The power move? It's so simple. You walk in, you pause, and you take one slow, deliberate breath. That single moment of stillness says more than any introduction ever could. It says, I belong here, and I'm perfectly fine on my own.
You know, this one sounds so simple, but it's where most people totally mess up. Putting your phone face down on the table? That's not polite. You're just putting a glowing rectangle of potential distraction right between you and the other person. In truly high-status circles, phones just disappear. Completely. Why? Because the message of a hidden phone is incredibly powerful. It says, you have my complete, undivided attention. And in the world we live in today, that kind of presence, man, that's a superpower.
Oh, this is such a classic social test. When someone compliments you, what's your first instinct? Is it to downplay it? You know, oh, this whole thing, I got it on sale. All that does is tell everyone you're uncomfortable being admired. The truly elegant response is just disarmingly simple. A calm smile, direct eye contact, and 2 words. Thank you. Full stop. It signals that you're not surprised by your own value. You're comfortable with it.
Okay, so you've nailed the presence part. But status isn't just a solo performance, right? So now let's move into our second section, how you actually interact with other people. Because presence isn't just about how you stand, it's about how you connect.
This one reveals so much. Your true character isn't how you treat the CEO. It's revealed in how you treat the people you don't think you need to impress. The way you talk to the valet, the bartender, the code tech staff. That's like an invisible audit that is always running. See, kindness that's only reserved for people who can do something for you isn't real kindness. It's just strategy. In these circles, consistent, genuine kindness isn't just a nice to have. It's basically seen as a credential. Now, this isn't about what you eat, but how you eat. When you're eating like it's a race, it just signals scarcity and anxiety. In these environments, a meal is a rhythm, not a race. You see people setting their fork down between bites. They create pauses. This demonstrates a calm, unhurried kind of control, and it lets the conversation actually breathe. We focus so much on first impressions, but honestly, the last impression is often what really sticks with people. A clumsy exit, hovering awkwardly or interrupting, can just undo an entire great conversation. The elegant exit, though, is a simple 3-step process. First, you wait for a natural lull. Then, you offer a genuine reason, something like, it was so great talking to you, I just want to say a quick hello to someone before they leave. And then, you end with warmth. You're not just ending a conversation, you're preserving the connection.
I know this sounds almost trivial, but trust me, it's a massive tell. Are you clutching your bag like it's a life raft? That just signals anxiety. People with that innate sense of ease, they carry their belongings loosely. A bag just resting casually on a chair next to them isn't careless. It's the physical language of someone whose security comes from the inside, not from their stuff.
All right, so we've handled your arrival, and we've covered how you interact. Now for the final part, let's look at the small, almost imperceptible details that pull everything together. Think of these as the finishing touches that signal complete and total poise.
This one is a total social minefield. When people are faced with just over-the-top luxury, they usually put on one of 2 costumes. First, there's tourist shock, jaw on the floor, eyes wide, which basically screams, I've never seen anything like this before. Or you get performed indifference, a bored, yeah, it's nice, which is just as transparent. The real thing is beautifully simple. Appreciate without performing. A quiet smile, maybe a brief, genuine comment. Because, all can be charming, but shock is not.
Humor is a social audit, make no mistake. Sharp wit? Celebrate it. But humor that comes at someone else's expense? It is noted. People might laugh in the moment, but they remember who told the cruel joke, and they remember who laughed the loudest. As the source material puts it, it's like a stain on a white tablecloth. Everyone sees it, nobody really mentions it, but everyone remembers who made it.
Okay, this last one is a real game changer.
We all have a company posture, right? Shoulders back, spine straight. But what about your posture when you're waiting for the elevator after the meeting? Or when you're just scrolling on your phone in the corner? That's the version of you they believe. Because composure that just evaporates the second you think you're off duty, well, that isn't real composure. It's just a costume.
So, as we start to wrap up here, what's the big takeaway? What's the common thread tying all 10 of these behaviors together? It's not about status you're born with or status you buy. It's about the currency of choice. It's about status you create, just through pure intention.
And this right here is the most important part. Just look at that number, 0. Not a single one of these things costs a penny. This isn't about wealth, it's about awareness. It's all about making conscious choices about how you decide to show up in the world.
Because at the end of the day, that's what these small choices do. They are the subtle differentiators. They're the invisible line between feeling like an outsider who just kind of wandered in by accident and feeling like you are exactly where you are supposed to be.
Your character isn't really defined when you're on stage, under the big spotlight. It's defined in those quiet, unguarded moments. That pause at the door, the kindness you show to a stranger, the way you listen when your phone is completely out of sight.
So here's the question I want to leave you with. We are all communicating constantly, whether we mean to or not. In those small moments, the ones you think nobody is watching, what message are you sending? What your little behaviors really say about you?